y'all. It's your favorite country girl, Renee Davis, and welcome back to another episode of Love Kills by Melanin Mayhem. It's guaranteed to make your blood pressure rise and get your cussing game on point, because I'm pulling back the sheets on all kinds of crimes that prove that love ain't always sweet. Sometimes it's deadly. Love Kills by Melanin Mayhem brings you the stories of all kinds of relationships and situationships that went hella wrong and resulted in someone or someone's water being turned permanently off, if you know what I'm saying. I'm gonna give you the who, the what, the where, and the why I think this shit is crazy. We gonna get in and we gonna get out just like a robbery. I got a story. You wanna hear it? Well, here you go. Now, I have to give a trigger warning this episode because it contains graphic descriptions of the deaths of children. If you are sensitive or prone to cry at the drop of a hat, this might not be the episode for you. But if you down like 4 flats on a Cadillac, let's get into it. This week, Love Kills is headed to the Martin Luther King Apartments in Detroit, Michigan, over off Sheen Street. And we're talking back in 2012, when a mother did the unthinkable, the unimaginable, and the most heinous crime a parent can commit. But it's also a story as old as time itself, going back to when Cain killed Abel, honey. Because family relationships are a minefield of emotions and shit. You can have a love that's so strong that it'll have people dying for one another, right? But then it can also be so toxic and dysfunctional that it'll make a human just lose their shit and murder the same ones that they claim to love so much. Well, Mitchelle Blair, that's who we're going to talk about today. And Mitchelle Blair at the time was a 30-something single parent of 4 children, 2 boys and 2 girls. Now, Mitchelle, she had been living in this apartment with her family for at least 5 years, from what I can tell, maybe longer than that. And her people say that Mitchelle was strict with her kids. Now, strict is a vague word. You know, strict can run the gamut from, keeping your kids on a routine or a schedule, making them do chores or not letting them go outside and play. Or it could be that Mitchelle was a spoiled a child kind of a parent. I'm going to go with the latter, because when the shit hit the fan, come to find out, Mitchelle had a house of horrors. Her children were being terrorized and nobody came to their aid. Not a grandmama, not a auntie, definitely not they stinking ass daddies. Mitchelle had 2 baby daddies. One, Stephen Berry, he was the daddy to 9-year-old Stephen and an 8-year-old younger son. And then another nigga named Alexander Dorsey, he was the father to 13-year-old Stoney and an 18-year-old daughter. So to recap, we got 2 daughters by the first nigga, Alexander, and then she hooked up with Steven and had 2 sons. Now, I ain't got nothing positive to say about these trifling, puss-ass, deadbeat-ass niggas. So I was just moved the fuck on, because I will be dragging their asses later on in the pod. I don't even want to get crunk right now, because we got some other shit to talk about. At some point, Mitchelle stopped paying rent. And this is crazy, because when you hear about what the fuck she did, not paying the rent was really the only reason that we find out what kind of monster that she really was. So what had happened was, on March 24th, 2015, at 10:45 in the morning, the apartment complex did what they do when a motherfucker don't pay rent. They came to put that ass out on the street. And you know what? Pause for just a second. I have never understood how a motherfucker let they shit get put out. I mean, I understand, but I understand people can't pay rent. That I get. Sometimes you just can't pay. But what I don't understand is you have a date. You have a date that you have to be out by. This shit is not a surprise pop-up eviction. They ain't just popped up on your ass all willy-nilly. No, bitch. They told you exactly when they were coming. And they don't miss a date. Tell me when you have ever. They don't call out. The motherfuckers is coming. So when they put that shit on your door to make sure that you know they coming, I'm not finna stay and have a motherfucker put my shit on the curb. I mean, because that is the saddest thing to see. Ooh, honey, I don't care if I have to sell plasma and pussy. I'm gonna go get me some storage fee money. You not finna put my shit on the curb. I got some cute shit. Me and mine gonna be gone before you get here. You know what I'm saying? I am definitely not gonna be here when the eviction team show up to empty my shit. But everybody ain't like me, because I'm sure y'all have seen them piles on the curb. Anyway, back to the story. So the eviction crew is here, and Michelle and 2 of her kids are in the apartment when they show up to show their asses out. And of course, they removing Michelle's shit, they come across a deep freezer. Ain't nothing out of the ordinary for a family to have a deep freezer. I mean, shit, children eat a lot, and having a deep freezer can keep you from running back and forth to the grocery store so often, right? So, I can see the crew, they've got a list of evictions that they got to get to today, so they want to get in here, knock this shit out, move on to the next one. They toting shit out, and then they get around to that deep freezer. And I'm thinking one of them, probably unplugged it. Another one kind of jiggled it, see how heavy it was. Is it empty or is it full? Just in case they need to double back and go grocery shopping. You know what I'm saying. Them eviction people where I'm from will call somebody quick and be like, hey, it's Christmas in July. Better come get it. They got crab legs. I'm sorry. I gotta try to lighten this up, y'all, because this is horrible what I'm about to tell y'all. Anyway, you can see them getting ready to lift the lid, right? But and thinking they ain't about to see nothing but, maybe some frozen vegetables, a couple of packs of meat. Instead, they see a body. Oh shit, not just a body, but bodies. Children's bodies. It's 2 bodies in this freezer. Man, the surprise, the shock, and the what the fucketh of it all, all at the same goddamn time. Hats off to the eviction crew, because when you work in the field of throwing people out their house, you done seen all kind of shit. And I'm sure you can get a little jaded, you know what I'm saying? Ain't shit that can shock you about how nasty or filthy a motherfucker is in their house. But to see some children in the freezer like some fish sticks, ain't no job, ain't no course, nowhere can prepare you for some shit like that. And to have to see that shit and process that shit and then call somebody to come see about this shit, man, I hope the niggas got some counseling. I hope the hell they got some counseling, because I can't even imagine. I mean, I can go my whole life without seeing some shit like that. Ugh. The children in the freezer were 9-year-old Stephen Berry and 13-year-old Stony Blair. Now, mind you, this dog-face ass bitch was babysitting somebody's baby when the police got there. I mean, your ass is being evicted today, and you got the absolute nerve and gall to be looking after somebody else's child when 2 of yours is in the freezer? See, this is what I'm saying. You better know who in the fuck you got watching your children. That's all I got to say. This bitch got her children in the freezer, and somebody is trusting her with their baby. Goodbye. Of course, the eviction crew, they lose their shit and they run up out of there. They looking at Michelle like she is the devil incarnate, as they calling 911 and Jesus on the main line to fix it at the same goddamn time. But that's one way to stop the goddamn eviction proceedings. Them shits came to a motherfucking halt. I would like to know, did they go and finish working for the day, or was they done? Because I don't know about y'all, but I would have been done for the day. Probably for the week. I probably would be scarred for life. I need some disability at this point, because I can't even go in nobody's house. Jesus, a freezer? No, I freak out every time I see them. I can't imagine. So anyway, the eviction crew has called 911. The police get there and it's confusion and chaos, because the rent people, they up there standing around, not believing exactly what the eviction crew is reporting. Michelle walking around this bitch like she ain't got a care in the world. So the police go to the apartment. They tell Michelle, we got a report that you got some interesting things in your freezer. And y'all, this audacious ass, diabolical ass, crazy bitch don't even try to deny anything. In fact, she did just the opposite. This bitch, funky ass, dog face, raggedy mouth motherfucker was in full perform mode. Like, she claiming all of it. Yeah, I did it. They was evil. They had demons in them. I killed their ass again. Bitch, what? Y'all, them kids had been in that freezer for 2 and 3 years respectively. Stephen was killed August 30th, 2012. The oldest surviving child, that 18-year-old daughter, she said that Michelle beat him with her fist. Then she threw hot water on him. His skin burned off. Then she made him drink Windex. And as he vomiting, this bitch went and got some plastic bags and put them over Steven's head, trying to smother him. Steven, he tear a hole in the bag so he can breathe. So this psychotic bitch went and got some stronger bags. Yes, she went and got the Force Flex, you know, the kind that don't puncture easy. And she put that over that boy's head. And then this hoe, this hoe, she put a belt around this baby's neck and lifted him up off the ground and just strangled him until he lost consciousness. This funky bitch wasn't through though. No. She liked to play with her food before she eat it. This funky bitch slapped him awake, slapped him back to consciousness, and then repeated the process. After a while, Steven didn't wake up no more. So Mitchelle put him in the freezer. Mind you, her 3 kids are there watching all this shit happen, and they can't do a goddamn thing. As a matter of fact, they have to act like ain't shit wrong. They went to school and they came home every day. And little Steven in the goddamn freezer like a pack of ground beef. That's fucking depraved and diabolical and motherfuckerly all at the same damn time, to the 100th power. And this bitch, Mitchelle, is out here still monkey stomping her remaining 3 children on the regular too. I mean, everybody gets beat. You just don't know if you're going to get a super beat by Mitchelle. and that's tragic, and it's unbelievable by itself. But y'all, for the next 9 months, they lived in that apartment with Steven in the freezer. Ooh, Jesus be offense. Then this daughter of Satan, she did a motherfucking repeat. Mitchelle killed her daughter Stoney on May 5th, 2013, just 9 months later. Before Stoney went to see the king, she was beaten and tortured just like her brother. The children say that Mitchelle punched her in her face a lot of times. They don't even know how many, it was just a lot. Hit that baby with a 2x4. A goddamn 2x4. Bitch, where you get a 2x4 from? And then she went and got another one of them Force Flex bags and put it over Stoney's head. There are no words. I mean, before they ended up in the freezer, like I said, this funky bitch tortured them kids in that house when nobody could see. Out of her own mouth, this trifling bald-head ass bitch said that she not only beat them kids, as if that wasn't enough, she was punching them and putting these bags over their head until they fell out, and then she would throw hot-ass water on them, boiling water, to make them wake up. And she starved them, and she beat them, and she used extension cords, and she beat them until they bled. She choked Steven out with a belt. She made this boy drink Windex. I mean, poured hot scalding water on his boy parts. Yes, so fucking distic. Oh my Lord, I want to fuck this hoe up, Jesus. This was a 9-year-old child. His life was a fucking nightmare. Stoney was only 13. Her life was a fucking nightmare. And there are 2 more children in this home, because remember, Mitchelle got 4 kids in all that live with her. The 2 surviving children, they was abused too. Now, the oldest girl, she was like 14, 15, and the youngest boy was like 6 when Steven was killed. They see their mom torture and murder their brother. They see their mama put their brother in the goddamn freezer and then have to act like ain't shit wrong. It's perfectly normal to go from a family of 5 to a family of 4. I mean, we still gotta go to school and hold on to the secret of this dysfunctional, homicidal home life. With Mitchelle regularly opening up a can of whoop ass on them, burning them with irons and shit. Y'all remember are y'all old enough to remember Good Times? Y'all remember Penny Mama? That's what she used to do. That's how she got with Walona. Okay, that is not the point. This is what Mitchelle is doing. You know, burning them and then pouring alcohol on the burns. Every time they bleeding and shit, she pouring alcohol on them. I mean, they gotta watch their mama kill their sister after she killed their brother. And if that wasn't enough, this funky, sadistic, trifling, dog-face ass bitch, poor excuse for a human being, made her oldest daughter put Stoney in the freezer. Wow. She made her child put her sister, her dead sister that she just watched her mama kill. He'll put her in the freezer. Put her in the freezer with Steven. Ooh, baby, in the infinite number of ways to fuck up a child for life, this got to be in the top 5. I mean, it's got to be. The medical examiner say they had to wait 2 days for them children to defrost. 2 fucking days. And when they finally thawed out, Stoney's body is covered in bruises from head to toe, chipped teeth from being hit in the face, I guess, with that 2x4. You know, Steven's talk screen show he got isopropyl alcohol, rubbing alcohol in his system. That means he ingested it. This bitch here, Steven got burns all over his body, all over his genitals. Mitchelle is charged with 2 counts of felony murder, 2 counts of premeditated murder, 2 counts of torture, 4 counts of child abuse, and 1 count of committing child abuse in the presence of another child. Now, y'all, every time this hoe got to be in court, she in that bitch showing the fuck out. I'm talking about putting on for the city, just yelling at everybody and talking cash shit, just cussing and carrying on. Like she the one being wronged in this situation. Bitch, if you don't shut the fuck up and get on your knees and beg for mercy and forgiveness for the shit that you did. But no. She acted proud to have killed her kids. Like the bitch was 38 hot at her baby daddies. They were in court every time she was. And now I'm just gonna say, had these trifling ass puss ass niggas showed up for their children like they having to show up for court now, maybe they would still be alive today. But no, them pussy punk ass niggas. Whew, it ain't time yet. It ain't time. Like one time they was up in the court, and like I said, she putting on for the city. She performing. I mean, she just go off on her baby daddies when she see their asses sitting up in the courtroom, right? Still claiming her bullshit all along. I did it. I ain't never tried to say I didn't do it. I did that shit. But that don't negate the fact that they were never there for their children. Okay, there is truth there. Two things can be true at the same time, because them niggas clearly wasn't around in no way, shape, form, or fashion to not know that their kids were getting freezer burned in the goddamn kitchen for some years. And the court felt the same way, because while Mitchelle was on trial for murder, they was also at the same time petitioning the state to terminate the parental rights for all they puss asses needed for these last 2 children. Y'all don't even need y'all. Fuck that. Ward of the state, somebody else in the family, anybody but y'all, anybody. But I want y'all to listen to this bitch in her own words. I mean, the way she acted in this courtroom, I can't even do it justice. Y'all wouldn't even believe me. You a sweater country girl is in here putting on. So let me let you hear this hoe for yourselves.
The allegations against my client, Mr. Berry, are failure to protect and abandonment.
Never being there for his kids.
Mother,
He was always on sex sites, though, right?
Mother, listen to me.
I had to beg you to come see me. For real?
Mother, listen to
No
me.
matter how much you lie or how your lawyers lie,
We'll do it without you.
I never
We
tried to
will
say I
do it
didn't. I
without
did it,
you.
but that does not negate the fact that they were never there for their children. I had to struggle with them all the time. They were never there.
You get
Steven,
your
you
chance.
know we had to beg you. Me, Steven, all of us used to cry for you.
All right, tell me what happened to Stephen.
So I started punching Steven. I put a bag over his head. He lost consciousness. I did that a couple times. So I grabbed Steven and I grabbed the belt and I put a belt around his neck and I lifted him up. Like, do you like how this feels, being choked with a belt? So I dropped him. I held him up until he lost consciousness as well.
You were intending to...
No, I did not intend to kill Steven.
No, I'm not... Listen to my question. You were intending to inflict serious physical harm, but not kill him.
Definitely.
Okay. Did you also punch him?
Yes, I did. Multiple
also
times.
kick him?
Yes, I did.
You talked about choking him. Did you also burn him?
Yes, I did.
Okay, how did you do that?
Hot water, scalding hot water. In our bathroom, the hot water gets extremely hot. So, his private area, I stood him in the bathtub naked. So yes, I threw hot water in his genital area multiple times. So yes, I threw hot water on him repeatedly.
Did it make him burn?
Yes, it did. His skin came off.
Did you also make him drink Windex?
Yes, I did.
Okay, again, you knew you were seriously harming him, but you didn't intend to murder him.
No.
Okay. But your actions ultimately caused his death.
Yes, they did.
Okay. Were you Stephen's mother?
Yes.
He was in your custody?
I don't claim him as my son now, and I do not claim Stoney as my daughter. I have 2 children. That's it. Stephen and Stoney are demons, period. And if I had killed Stephen intentionally, I definitely would be proud to say I did. But I didn't. But I know all the things that I did to him, how I hurt him, I know it did cause his death. You know what I'm saying? It was like that day, the day that he died, I went in his room, it was throw up in front of him on the bed. I got him up. He said he had to go to the bathroom, but he couldn't use the bathroom. By the time we came out the bathroom, his breathing was It was crazy. Steven usually has a strong heartbeat, but it was really faint, really, really faint. And then all of a sudden, he just started going like this, and I was holding him. We were both sitting on the floor, and I'm actually holding him up. He couldn't even hold himself. I'm like, Steven, doing like this, because the day before that, I actually said I'm going to stop, because I looked in the room and like, he is toe up, you know.
Were you starving him at this time as well?
No, I was not. I never starved him, and that's another thing that they're not understanding. He may have lost weight. You get what I'm saying? So yes. Now Stony, I did starve her. I did. Oatmeal is all that girl got. And she lucky she got that once a day.
Stony only got oatmeal? Is that what you're saying?
Oatmeal once a day. She's very lucky she got that. I don't feel no remorse for the death of them demons.
Okay. Miss Blair, what did you do to Stony Blair that makes you guilty of premeditated murder?
I intentionally killed her.
How did you do that?
I repeatedly punched her. On many occasions, I assaulted her every time. By assault, I mean I punched her. I have put a bag over her head till she lost consciousness. I threw hot water on her, scalding hot water from the faucet.
Did you hit her in the head with a whipping
Yes,
stick?
I hit her in her head multiple times, over and over.
Was that shortly before she died?
That was actually days before she died and the day she died.
Okay.
I hit her on her back. It's like on her tailbone. I kicked her. May 25th is actually the day she died. Well, the day I killed her.
And you said you killed her by putting a grocery bag over her head?
Yes, yes, I put a bag over her head, but it got worse that day. Yes, I did. It got worse that day. It was over with after that. It was over with.
You meant to kill her?
I definitely meant to kill her.
Okay. It wasn't an accident?
No, not at all.
Okay.
If I had a chance to do it again, I would.
When you went and got the grocery bag and suffocated her, that was your intent?
Yes. She was standing in the bathtub. I was throwing hot water on her. My son was standing to my right outside the bathroom door, and I actually had a stick, and I was hitting her in the head, hit her very hard in her head, and I was throwing hot water on her. And when I actually took her out of the bathroom, I took her back in her room, and I just kept staring at her. I meant to. I definitely meant to. And I do not feel any remorse for what I did to Stony.
I told y'all I couldn't do it justice. You needed to hear that for yourself. She pled guilty to 2 counts of murder for 9-year-old Steven and 13-year-old Stony. They basically dropped all the rest of the charges since she was going to get, the max for this. She claimed that Stony and Steven were molesting her child, her youngest child, and that's why she did it. Bitch, if you think your children are molesting another one of your children, then you call the authorities. You take the child to the hospital, get them checked out, you get an actual factual accounting from a medical professional. What you don't do is take matters into your own hands and become judge and jury and executioner at the same goddamn time. You just don't do these things. 46-year-old Mitchelle Angela Blair is inmate number 963241 at the Huron Valley Complex. And I don't know if I got any listeners at the Huron Valley Complex, but I want to know who the biggest, baddest bitch in that prison. I hope that you are making this whole life a living hell for the rest of her motherfucking days, because this hoe should have gotten the death penalty for what she did to her kids. She don't deserve to be here any longer. It's time for you to go. You need to exit the planet. It's time for you to get on down there and see the devil. You need to go ahead and bust hell wide open, honey. It's time for you to go. Bye. Now, I'm going to say some shit, and some of y'all ain't going to like it, especially if you are pro-choice, but it's people out here that ain't got no business being nobody's mama or daddy. Like, they should not be allowed to procreate, period, point blank. And now we are in so many states forcing women to have babies that they don't want for whatever reason. Be it they ain't got no help, they ain't got no resources, or they just don't fucking want a child. And then there are others like this bitch Mitchelle that's got some serious fucking mental defects going on. Because no, her elevator didn't go as far to the top as it should have gone, but we do know that this bitch elevator goes straight to hell. I mean, she tortured her kids, and she ain't the only parent out here doing that shit. It's kids right now going through puberty hell by the person that gave them life. And what's even sadder is that in many of these cases, family members know that them kids are getting fucked up. There are neighbors that know that the kids next door down the block are being abused, neglected. They know that there are kids in that apartment, but ain't nobody seen them in a long time. Schools that see kids ain't been to school in a long ass time. Social workers that have families on their case log, and they haven't had a chance to go see the kids yet because they so overworked and underpaid and under stress. But somehow the case files, they say everything is just fine. The system is broken. It's broken. And much like how waiting for the police to save us ain't gonna happen, the Family and Children's Services ain't providing the services needed. Foster care is a mess. And what makes me so mad about this case is that everybody saw the scars and the bruises on these kids before they went in the freezer. Welts and scabs on a child can't be hidden because they everywhere. Steven's daddy say he made a complaint to DFACS back in 2005. 2005. And DFACS didn't do anything. Well, why the fuck didn't you do something? Why are you waiting on the government to handle your business when you should be handling it yourself? You see the marks on your kid and his siblings. You asked your kid about that shit, and he told you his mama was monkey stomping their asses on the regular. You see the bruises. You saw the old bruises and the new bruises.
What happens when your kids come to visit you in 2005?
Sister gave him a bath, seen whips on her back.
Who's seen whips?
My sister.
Your sister. Did you see these whips?
She showed them to me.
Are these long red marks?
No, they was healed up by the time I seen them.
Healed up. But do they appear to be long, like lines?
No, it's like slashes.
You saw for yourself that your son was being used as a punching bag, and you left him and all the rest of them children in that environment to continue to be tortured for fucking years. That was in 2005. Steven didn't leave here till what, 2012? Jesus, you worse than a fucking deadbeat. A deadbeat can say they didn't know because they didn't come around, period. You came around enough to see that something in the milk wasn't clean and to not give enough of a fuck to protect your own damn seed. Let me tell you something. Fuck you with the biggest dick on the planet with no Vaseline, very disrespectfully. I hope one day you in the bathroom pissing and your dick just fall off. Just bloop in the toilet. I hope you catch COVID, herpes, syphilis, and AIDS all in one whop and they ain't got no medicine for none of that shit. I hope your funky ass family that saw that shit commented on that shit and then moved the fuck on from that shit. Y'all too. All y'all need to suffer from boils from the top of your head to the soles of your feet. Cause you trifling. That's just fucking trifling. And then at the trial, at the funerals, y'all hollering the loudest. Oh, that bitch. Oh, that bitch. No, y'all them bitches. All y'all who seen that shit in 2005 and got the nerve to be hooping and hollering in 2015. Fuck all y'all. Mitchelle and her kids lived in an apartment, and no shade, but these apartments, these are on the lower end quality of the spectrum of age. The projects, the walls was thin and shit, you know what I'm saying? And ain't no way the neighbors on either side of them walls didn't hear them kids being tortured, didn't hear they screams, because you can't get hit with an extension cord and be quiet about it. You can't get boiling water thrown on you and not holler out in terror. But everybody just ignored Mitchelle fucking her kids up on the regular for years. What's my saying? We see and don't see. We hear and don't hear. I'm just say this. If you don't know what it's like to live with a parent or a caregiver that has undiagnosed mental illness, you can never know how bad shit can get Back in the day, and I'm talking about baby boomer days, Generation X days, and before, mental illness was taboo. There's some new shit where everybody's just kumbaya and let's talk about it, and therapy's great. And definitely in our community back then, therapy was a big old hell to the no. and I'm not making excuses for this woman in no shape or fashion. But I am saying that when a person's mind ain't right, they can do unspeakable things that they probably wouldn't do if they were in a more, shall we say, balanced state of mind. And I speak from experience. My childhood was problematic. Living with a parent that was undiagnosed, I didn't know why they were the way they were. I just knew shit wasn't right. But I had to learn quickly how to navigate to survive. It's why now I can read a person's mood in a couple of seconds and adjust accordingly. Because I know what it's like to live with somebody whose moods can switch on a dime and go from 0 to 100 and crash the fuck out on you. And you in this house, trapped. Ain't nobody coming to save you. This shit is happening. And it's happening by people who you would never think could be capable of such vile behavior. Some of your friends, maybe even you, grew up in a house of horrors. Maybe you were the refuge that a child ran to escape to some normalcy for a little while, But the uncomfortable conversation of it all is what we gonna do about that person or persons that we know are unstable, that got kids you don't never see. And the bad thing today is that kids don't go outside and play like they used to. They like being in the house, so it's harder to spot who is missing from the playground. And we so busy with our own lives, the life of it all, you know what I mean? We do see and we do hear and we do feel when things are off. But we also don't talk about stuff like this because if we don't talk about it, we don't have to act on it. We can just stay in our lane. Sadly, Stephen and Stoney are not the only children who have lost their lives at the hands of a parent. But maybe, just maybe, if we start talking about this shit, we can prevent another child from ending up in the freezer. I'm just saying. So let's talk about it. On our social media pages, I am Melanin Mayhem Podcast or Melanin Mayhem PC, depending on where you are. But you can find me on IG, YouTube, X, and Facebook. And if you somewhere else, I don't do TikTok. I don't have the time. I just can't. Not to mention it ain't going to be here much longer anyway. But you can catch me on them other four. And if you somewhere else, let me know. I'll see about getting over there too. But it's just me, so have some grace. If you have not joined the Facebook discussion group yet, will you quit playing with me and hit the request button, please? We cutting up over there. You already know it, so come on, get down with the get down. Let me tell you something. I gotta go. It's late. It's getting late. I don't want to be here all night editing this pod. I have to lighten it up, y'all. I want to fight this woman like I done read this story and calm myself down, read this story, calm myself down, and now that I'm recording this story, I got to go calm myself down. So before I get to editing, I got to go, get me some herbal relaxations going on or whatever. But until the next love story ends in tears and tragedy and love takes a bite out of somebody's ass, y'all stay safe. Play that shit smart. And remember, love will make you do some crazy shit. Don't get caught up and fuck around and be on an episode of Love Kills. Love Kills will be back in 2 Fridays, but you can catch me every Wednesday at our regular time for your next hit of Melanin Mayhem. Until then, your favorite country girl is out of here.